It's a huge privilege. It's an incredibly special place to live. There are days which are wild and windy and interesting, but there's also stunningly beautiful days as well. And there's not many places you can get to live. Open your front door and there's an otter trotting by, or harbour porpoise at the bottom of your garden. So I absolutely love it. And I've worked on seabird islands all over the world, and this is actually one of the most accessible islands that I've ever worked on. NOS is a long-term monitoring site for seabirds and other ground nesting birds. Basically everything we've got here we're studying in one form or another. It's a critical site for seabird data, so we monitor their population and their breeding success. But the long-term trends, very similar to the rest of the UK, suggest that some of the smaller seabirds such as kittiwakes and guillemots, razorbills, especially the birds which are very selective in their feeding, are suffering, and there's been a crash in the last 20 years and we've seen the population decline since then. Bigger birds such as the bonxies and the gannets are doing very well. The gannet tree here is absolutely spectacular. Anyone who's walked along the cliffs will be awed by the sheer scale of it, the size and the sound and the smell of the gannet tree. Something that the gannets have over a lot of the smaller seabirds is that they can travel enormous distances. They can go all the way to Norway should they want to, and they can carry much more food back to their young. Also, being larger birds, they are able to protect their chicks longer, and they spend a long time brooding their young and build it up from a tiny little chick into a chick that's the same size as some of the adults before it fledges. So they're bringing a lot of food back over a long period of time. It does indeed. A lot of the smaller birds are very specialist feeders, so they only target one particular prey type, and if that particular prey isn't in the area or the numbers are diminished, they find it incredibly difficult, particularly things like guillemots, which will return with only one fish at a time. If they have to spend several hours or several days on one foraging trip, the chick that's left back on the ledge is just going to starve. It's just not going to make it. It's as simple as that. But something to bear in mind that a lot of seabirds are case-selective species, so they're incredibly long-lived, and in order for the population to be sustainable, all they need to do is replace themselves in their lifetime. So 1 or 2 but poor seasons isn't disastrous. It is bad if it's year on year and the total numbers have declined so much that we aren't getting recruitment back into the colony.